Hey, Phil here from RoomReady, and I want to take a few minutes to walk you through how RoomReady approaches meeting room design. I actually asked for this graphic to be made back in 2015, and it's as true now as it ever has been. It's a fantastic graphic just to kind of help people think and wrap their minds around kind of the traditional AV integrator methodology for designing video-enabled rooms versus how RoomReady approaches a video-enabled room system. So the design on the left is kind of your very basic how everybody designs video-enabled meeting spaces. Oftentimes they put a third-party digital matrix as the core of the room solution. Think Crestron, Extron, AMX. There's some type of controller, that gray box. Sometimes that's built into the digital matrix. Sometimes that is its own standalone box, but that talks to all the other peripherals. So it talks to the digital matrix, tells the digital matrix what to send out to the displays, the speakers, and then it talks to the other peripherals in the room, like the video codec, the audio DSP, things of that nature. You know, if there's like a lighting and shade controller, if there's a Blu-ray, you know, we still are getting asked for those in some rooms. And Apple TV, that controller is talking to the other peripherals, and the controller gets its input. It gets told what to do by the user interface. You know, again, custom third-party, pane of glass that sits on the desk or the conference table or the wall, and that third-party programmed user interface, again, Crestron, Extron, AMX, is a little bit different for every room. One time we ended up winning an opportunity where another AV integrator had, said to the big financial company, "Hey, we have designed one user interface that works for all of your meeting rooms, and it's Crestron." Well, they had a Crestron 5-inch touch panel in some rooms, a Crestron remote in some rooms, a Crestron 11-inch touch panel in other rooms. And if you think about the difference between like an 11-inch touch panel and a 5-inch, the real estate is so significantly different. How could the same buttons, the same layout exist between the pages? They could say it was all Crestron, so they could say it was all one user interface, but they all looked and felt differently, so it was super confusing for the users. So again, back to the design here. So if every room looks like that, every room is kind of treated like its own unique snowflake, and they're trying to provide for any type of feature and benefit that they could potentially want in all of those rooms. So they stuff a bunch of different boxes into every room to potentially accommodate for the ability to add or give you extra features and benefits. RoomReady approaches it very differently. We actually want to start with a codec centric design or approach. We want to let the codec manufacturer be the core, largely because that significantly impacts several things. It impacts the user interface, and if we empower the codec manufacturer's user interface to be the one that's in all the rooms, it's a much more standard experience for your users. They can adopt to it faster, have greater confidence moving from a huddle to a small to a large to an executive to a training room. Also, we don't add a bunch of redundancy into the system, a bunch of different points of failure. As you can see, there's a lot fewer boxes, a lot fewer things to go wrong in a codec-centric design. And I know some people are going to watch this and they're going to say, "Hey, but what about all the microphone inputs? There's not enough microphone inputs. You have to have a DSP in every room." It's not really always the case. You can absolutely design this way, and then if the room solution calls for it, i.e. you have a big fancy boardroom table, there's a lot of pre-drilled microphones in the table, you can definitely add a DSP to this, kind of tack it on like a sidecar to a very scalable base design, that the base design can easily accommodate for extra functionality, but you're not designing for that in every space or paying for that in every space. Someone might say, well, what about a war room? Again, all of those are one-off things that are important. You absolutely have reasons to design that way and to build that way, but in that kind of core base design, we want to solve for what's going to happen a majority of the time: video calls, audio calls, presenting content. So we want to have a codec centric approach. Another huge benefit to a codec centric approach is you can take advantage of the firmware updates that the manufacturer puts out without breaking the custom code. If you think about it like your users think about it, where they're used to their phone, their iPhone, their Android phone, getting better all the time, month over month, week over week, day by day. They're going to be taking advantage of those updates that get pushed to their phone. We had a large financial customer one time. They had a building where none of the meeting rooms had been updated in over 5 years, and because they were locked into custom code and they hadn't budgeted for the AV integrator to come in and update the code in 80 rooms. Anytime a firmware update got pushed from the codec manufacturer. So things like speaker tracking or presenter tracking functionality, things in the calling plan, that got updated, to take advantage of, muting external or remote people through the touch panel. In order to take advantage of those free updates, they would have had to pay the integrator to come back in and reprogram every room every time, and that's just completely, it's just a huge expense. So we want to design rooms that get better over time, that can improve over time. The best day that you install the room the best day that you experience in the room shouldn't be the day that it was installed and then it degrades. It should be every day. Every day should be the new best day in that room, because it can continue to get better over time. So again, just the way that RoomReady approaches meeting room design is quite a bit different. So I wanted to take a few minutes to chat about it. Feel free to ask me any questions, put some comments down below. Would love to chat with you. If you're an AV dude that you get cranky about this and you think about all the ways in which you won't be able to take advantage of features and benefits, I'm probably not going to respond to a bunch of those comments. But if you are someone who genuinely has questions, I would love to chat with you. I'd love to tell you more about how we're doing it, why we're doing it, and start a really good discussion. So hope you're having a great day, having a great week, and see you out there. Cheers.